Good evening, good evening. I am TB Wahid, Black Living Room Talk, and I want to spend some time talking to you about Indiana Jones' Quest for the Illuminated African Mind by Dr. Harry R. Davidson, Ph.D., guest columnist for The Final Call. Indiana Jones confesses that the true treasure is knowledge. Indeed, the skull that is being sought contained the scientifically enhanced mind of the African. I'm going to say that one more time. Indiana Jones confesses that the true treasure is knowledge. Indeed, the skull that is being sought contained the scientifically enhanced mind of the African. The teaching of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the Honorable Louis Farrakhan, and the writings of Black scholars allow us to interpret the reality underlying the movie The Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Recognize that the history of the Europeans is one of discovering that which the world Aboriginal peoples, the descendants of the Africans, created. In the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, Indiana Jones is a fictional archaeologist. European archaeologists are notorious for stealing artifacts and knowledge from Aboriginal cultures. Please read George M. James, his book about the stolen legacy, for more information in this area. Indiana Jones is a thief whose search for lost kingdoms is not noble. This movie is set in 1957 during the Cold War with Russia, and the world is living under the threat of nuclear annihilation. The Russians are interested in using the crystal skull for mind control. Indiana Jones has been kidnapped and taken to a restricted desert area where he barely survives an assault by Soviet agents. The government suspects that he is colluding with the Russian secret police, KGB. Mr. Jones returns home to Marshall, where he is a part-time associate professor of archaeology. A rebellious, leather-jacketed young biker with a personal motive presents Indiana Jones with a map that could lead to one of the most amazing archaeological discoveries ever: the crystal skull of Akator. Their mission takes them to the jungles of Peru. Indiana Jones confesses that the true treasure is knowledge. Indeed, the skull that is being sought contains the scientifically enhanced mind of the African. According to Layla O. Africa, author of African Holistic Health, metals were among the treasures of several kingdoms. Metals are composed of living substances that respond to music, electricity, drugs, colors, crystals, light, heat, and magnetism. The early African Kemetic people used metals for spiritual energy and for physical healing. They wore the metals on their bodies, in their hair, and even used copper eye paint for medical purposes. Different metals, gold, silver, copper, mercury, lead, and even tin, serve different purposes. Europeans adorned themselves to create false beauty and as a sign of prominence. Many blacks have adopted the practices of the European. Metals, including crystals, transmit and receive energy. The 1981 movie Raiders of the Lost Ark was the forerunner in the Indiana Jones series. In that film, Indiana Jones was hired by the United States government to search for the mystical lost Ark of the Covenant and retrieve the Ark before the Nazis or his adversary. A French archaeologist acquired it first. Possession of the Ark would afford the holders significant religious power. The Ark was lined with crystals so that when the rays of the sun entered one end, an atomic-like radiation beam was generated out of the other end. Of course, Indy had already figured the whole thing out, and he and his woman managed to duck the explosive rays, which wiped out the unsuspecting German soldiers who held Mr. Jones prisoner. According to sacred writings, the Ark of the Covenant was created by Moses, who was black. The Egyptians used the Ark for religious rites. The Ark was used for rituals designed to elevate the ancient African, black people's spiritual consciousness. I believe that similar Ark-like machines were lined with crystals, aligned with the rays of the sun and used to emit laser rays, which could be used to cut stones and even build pyramids. Ancient Aboriginal people were not sun worshippers. They simply recognized the solar power before everybody else got into the solar energy business. In Raiders of the Lost Ark, we see fictitious Germans who desire to create weapons of mass destruction. But they also were looking for the medical technology needed to heal themselves. Europeans invaded Africa for its many resources. However, a primary resource was the Africans' holistic healing science. Ivan van Sertima addresses evidence of the presence and influence of both Egyptians and blacks in ancient America in his book, They Came Before Columbus. Such evidence includes the findings of statues of Negroid heads and actual skulls, crystal skulls. The Babylonian and Egyptian type step pyramids depicted in the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull were also constructed in the ancient Mayan culture. Indiana Jones discovers the bodies of Spanish soldiers killed while seeking gold and other precious metals and stones. These soldiers were mummified and preserved using Egyptian technology. The movie depicts the elaborate pyramidal irrigation system described by Dr. Rijli Abdul Mumin in his book Amen, The Secret Waters of the Great Pyramid. Indiana Jones activates the lift system, and after traveling across the counterbalance machine used to construct the pyramid, his entourage manages to unlock valves and enter the Queen's chamber. And finally, the Judgment Hall, where they face extraterrestrials. Once activated, E.T.'s people fire up their spacecraft as Indy and his crew escape through descending passage once traveled by the secret waters of the pyramid, a route that dumps them into their escape via subterranean river. Erich von Däniken, a Swiss philosopher, elaborated on a theory that ancient wonders, such as the pyramids, were built by humans after extraterrestrials mated with them. The term ancient astronauts designates the speculative notion that aliens and not the Aboriginal people are responsible for the ancient civilizations on Earth. In his book, Chariots of the Gods, Mr. von Däniken claims that the myths, arts, social organizations, etc. of ancient cultures were introduced by astronauts from another world. Was he talking about the mothership? He questions not just the capacity for memory, but the capacity for culture and civilization itself in ancient peoples. He credits the ancient landing fields in Peru to extraterrestrials rather than the African Egyptians who were the first astrologers and astronauts. Von Daniken saw prehistoric peoples, pre-Europeans' history as helpless, incompetent, and forgetful savages. In contrast, Indiana Jones continues the quest for the illuminated African mind. Now, Dr. Davidson is an author and psychologist based in St. Louis, Missouri. If you would like to look him up, Dr. Harry R. Davidson, Ph.D. I'm not quite sure if he's still a guest columnist for the Final Call, but he warrants research because I think that this is not the only article that he has written. But I just wanted to share that with you. Indiana Jones' quest for the illuminated African mind. That is deep, right? Our mind is deep. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that, and I look forward to you joining with me as time permits. So please enjoy the rest of your weekend. I wish you peace, light, and love. Hotel.